This is one more video in the series, and this video is about motivation. This video is about career advice, career development, and this video is in this series, and this video is about how is engineering as a career, and engineering as a profession. So what I will be saying from my personal experience, I'll be guiding you regarding how is engineering as a profession from the time you will get into after your schooling of 11th and 12th into engineering. What all different possible options are there as a career in engineering, whether you can do business, whether you can do job, and what all different salaries are there which you can achieve after graduating from your college and by the time you retire, or the different possible companies or the different possible service lines or business industries in which you can get job. So engineering is a 4-year graduation. So for people who would be just, so this is also intended for people who would be doing their schooling and finishing their schooling. After that, they would be looking to know about what if I choose engineering as a profession or as my field for my graduation or as a subject for my graduation. What if I do engineering or something else? And also for the people who are doing engineering, I would be having some points for them, like what all different career paths are possible after you do your graduation and completing. So again, coming to the main point, engineering, if you are looking, there's engineering which both comes in the Bachelor of Engineering in India, that is a BE and BTech degrees. These are the two degrees which you would be getting. So they are specific, so there is nothing much different between a Bachelor of Engineer or a Bachelor of Technology. BE and BTech are the degree which is very specific to the university which gives those degree, and value of both in the market or outside is very much the same. And there is something else which is known as diploma. So diploma is mostly a 3-year course which is done by people before they do the 11th or 12th. So after your 10th, you can do directly diploma, which is a 3-year course, or after you complete your 12th, you can go for your BTech or BE engineering degree. So coming to the different engineering degrees, as you'd be knowing, or if you don't know, then some of the main common degrees include electrical engineering, there could be mechanical engineering, there could be computer, IT, civil, electronics and technology, or telecommunication, etc. Mechatronics was also one of the engineering branch which includes both mechanical and robotics, etc., or electronics. So these are the different branches of engineering, most famous or good branches of engineering. So while you are the selection of a branch, it's a personal choice. Also, it will depend on the amount of marks which you are getting in merit and which college will be eligible for you according to your merit and etc. So there would be common entrance tests before that, which you would be knowing, which you would be writing for getting, like there is a JEE for IIT, there is common entrance test for the different states. So you would be knowing for whichever state you are there or whichever place you are. So I would be covering about that. I would be making a video if possible after some time about the different common entrance tests for engineering in India, and whichever exam you're giving, then you'd have a choice based on your merit to select. So if your merit is high, then you can select your branch based on, if you want to study in a good college, then you might have to compromise on the branch. Suppose the merit for electronics or electrical and telecommunication, etc., could be higher, or computer science could be higher on a good college. So if, based on your current merit, you would not be eligible for that in the specific college which you want, but you could have a lower merit branch like a mechanical, electrical, or civil engineering. Or even if you want computer science, you could go for another college which might not be as good or rated as good. So rating of the college again is standard there. You can go into the list and search for the internet. On the internet, you can search for the list of the top 100 colleges in India. So it's recommended to mostly study in the top 100 college in India. One of the advantages is that if you are having very high merit, then or if you are preparing in the period of preparation, then you should aim for the top 50 colleges, because those colleges give very high return on investment and very high salary placements. And if you go for the next colleges, then even the placements will be good, but they will not be 100% placements, and the salary would not be as much high as you would be getting in the top 10, top 20 or top 30 colleges. So again, those are the things which you'll have to consider. So again, after engineering as a profession, if you look at it, so how is engineering as a profession? So what I talked about now was mainly targeted for Indian students as how to get into engineering. So again, how is engineering as a profession? So after doing your engineering, you would have multiple options, like you could do business or you could do job. So the doing business is not very much possible for all the branch of engineering instantaneously. One of the reason is that like if you're a civil engineer, then you could be an entrepreneur, or you could be entrepreneur instantaneously after you pass out your college. You could have some you could be supplying for the licenses and the other factors which are required for construction of buildings and etc. So that is one possibility which is possible for civil engineering. Even electrical engineer can be working as a contractor for signing agreements and signing legal documents for the construction of the building and for the construction of the electrifying works and supplying all such kind of things. You can search in detail online. But again, those things in electrical, even it requires a specific period of experience for you to be eligible. And that's, I'm speaking from my personal experience again. So again, coming to the point, after doing engineering, it's not that much. So continuing with the discussion, as I said that, again, after doing your engineering, you could have multiple options. Like the chances of doing business instantaneously after doing your engineering, based on the branch which you have selected, is a little bit limited. And it's not very much something like if you're a doctor, then you can go to practice, or you can start a clinic, or you can do something. If you're a lawyer, then you can start advocacy, etc. So that same thing is not very much there with engineer. So if you're a civil engineer, then you can do some legal works like signing for the plan and everything, and preparing the legal works before the construction and overseeing the construction, etc. So that requires some sort of consultation and assistance, for which you can start. Again, if you're an electrical engineer, you could start with the contracting works of building wirings, etc. and the other kinds of stuff there. So those are there with electrical and civil engineer. But the kind of profession, like if you're a doctor, you could start a clinic, or if you're a lawyer, then you could start directly advocacy, etc. It's not very much present with the engineer. Even after you get the degree, the chance of being an entrepreneur or the chance of being a self-employed person is something limited. But again, if you are doing something like, if you are doing computer science, if you are doing IT, there's a good chance of starting business in field of IT service, web development, web designing, app development, startups in the field of technologies and the IT startups, etc. So these kind of things have increased. Again, it will depend on your skills, the budget which you have, etc. So there's nothing. So comparing an electrical engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer. So again, in terms of directly the ability to be a self-employed person directly after graduation is a little bit limited for an engineer. So you'll have to take that into consideration while you are doing your graduation. Again, there is multiple possibility of doing business. Doing business does not require any specific graduation or something. It requires only your knowledge. So you could do multiple things, like an electrical engineer could do multiple business in the field of installation of solar, etc. You could become a supplier of solar panels, solar materials. You could do installation. So that kind of a specific business is possible, and with the knowledge of electrical engineering degree, you could do that much better. So there's something which lacks for electrical or for engineers specifically in terms of doing business. Again, after doing your graduation in the field of engineering, you can do job, and the job can be done in both the core fields. The core fields for engineers are usually Like if I'm electrical engineer, I can work in a company in the maintenance department, in the operation department, in the procurement department, etc. Based on the field which I get as a service engineer. Suppose if I'm a service engineer for a company, I would have to go to the site where the products are installed, or inside the company even, and if there is any requirement for service, I will have to overlook. There could be other responsibility in large companies which could be given to you. Could be like overseeing people working under you. You could manage a group of contractors who are working for the company, who are doing the work. You could oversee that. So that kind of work could be given to you after you are doing your graduation. So those kind of work which are in the core field. So I would recommend people in the field of electrical engineering, computer, civil, etc., mostly to work in the core field. People in the electronics and telecommunication usually don't get much of the core field jobs because those opportunities are very less in India. Unless you are doing a graduation from a very good college, the chances of getting job in the core field are very limited. Like the electronics and the other manufacturing companies are very less in India. So most of such people work in the IT industry. So while you are working while you are doing your graduation, the companies coming to your campus for placement also will also include IT companies. Also, there will be open campuses placements which would happen for freshers in IT companies. So you can join them. So the jobs in IT companies are mostly service related. Some of the companies also give you job on. Some of the companies are also product based. So product-based companies would be involved in manufacturing a specific kind of product for the company. So if you take example of a Microsoft, then the Microsoft is manufacturing Windows software. So the Windows is a product. So you could be working for that company, and you could be working in a manufacturing in a product-based company for that. So even IT-based company could be only service company where you would be deployed on a client where you would be servicing for a specific kind of product. So you would have to look into whether you want to go for a core job, and even if you're not getting a core job, whether you would want to go for a service company. So it depends on personal opinion and the kind of the career. Both, like working in a core job would be much better for freshers, because after 3 or 4 years, based on my personal opinion, even if you want to start your own business, then you can start that based on the core job or based on the core knowledge you have. Even it gives much better opportunity if you are looking to go to teaching field after 3 or 4 years. So again, the salary scenario in India for people from doing engineering, the top engineering colleges usually have very high salary, like after graduation, like also even in campus placement, people usually get salary from 50,000 rupees per month, and it could go up to 10 lakh rupees in the premium colleges. But in most of the medium range colleges, like it could be somewhere, the starting salary could be somewhere between 30,000, and it could go up to 1 lakh rupees during campus placement. Even people, and in the low end colleges, during the campus placement, the salaries range from 20,000 to 30,000. And people who are starting from 20,000 in engineering career, they could go up to 50,000. The average amount of people remain in that range. And if you are doing extraordinary performance, if you are doing an MBA, if you are doing an upgrade, and if the company is promoting you, in such cases, people go up to 1 lakh rupees of salary and more in their career range. People who are starting from 20 lakh. So 20,000 rupees per month. So that's the kind of earnings which is possible in the engineering, electrical engineering, if you specifically speak as a profession, as a career in India. So you can also map this to your respective country, whichever you are. Much things will not change, while the salary and everything in foreign countries are much higher if you compare as compared to India. So again, I have added some more points. So if you are interested in doing business, then you should try to do a job business. Then you should try to do a job in the field in a company in which you want to start a business related to. This is basically for core people who are interested in working in core fields. So that's one idea. Again, you can do an MBA after doing your electrical engineering. So by doing an MBA, it does nothing much, whether you want to do a business or not. But what it does is that you can even do a business without doing an MBA. There is no restriction. But what doing an MBA gives you much better understanding of the business scenarios and different business opportunities. Also, it will bring you in contact and touch with people who are like you, like-minded in doing business. So it will bring those exposure to you, which will make you, or which will bring much more better ideas and much more better, it will put you in much better situations in which you can start business of your own, or